Cranium, Mysterious Remain Death, Part 7. You're listening to Girls Love World, wishing you a wonderful listening experience. Chapter 31. I can find a buyer if Dr. Finn wants to sell it. Is that so? Finya found herself sitting with Songwhat. Beside her was Busaya, who was eating without paying attention to the conversation going on. In fact, Busaya didn't really understand antique trading. Although she had heard a little about it, she didn't pay much attention to it because she had never considered entering this somewhat gray industry. Although some transactions might not be illegal, they might not be entirely right either, which she never wanted to do. Just dealing with her daily work was already giving her a headache. She wasn't sure how Finya felt about this matter. Although she said someone had invited her to join the industry, she had turned it down. However, Finya probably knew these people better than she did, since she spent more time in the lab, so it was better to let Finya discuss this matter on her own. She was also unsure where this conversation was going since Finya had no intention of selling anything in the first place. Then again, the item in question belonged to their professor, and even if permission had been granted, it wouldn't be entirely appropriate to just sell it off. It was almost unbelievable that the mysterious skull had brought them to this point. Yes. The man answered calmly with a smile. I never knew there were people interested in this kind of thing here. In England, it will be another story. People aren't interested because it's rare, he explains. If you can find it, someone will pay for it. Finya nodded and glanced at the person next to her, who was eating in silence. What she had said about the previous dinner was not an exaggeration. Songwhat continued to stare at the female assistant before continuing. Normally, the buyer's name is not disclosed. I will tell you the price they offer. If Dr. Finn is satisfied with the price, just let me know, and I will arrange a meeting to finalize the price, transfer the money, and ship the rod. He outlined the process in detail. Don't buyers need to inspect the goods first? The female doctor asked understandingly. In my experience, well, there will be an inspection before completing the transaction. Is that so? He said, raising an eyebrow. I didn't expect Dr. Finn to know about this. Well, a little. Finya nodded before realizing that Busaya had turned to look at her. She paused for a moment before turning away. Actually, it depends on the buyer. He replied, seeming more relaxed after hearing that Finya had some experience in the black market. I thought there would be some checking before agreeing to the price. It depends on the wishes of both parties. Songwhat replied. If Dr. Finn agrees to sell, I can find a buyer for you. She said, looking at Busaya through her square glasses. Can I think about it and give you an answer later? The price is quite high. No problem, he said. Whenever you decide to sell, just let me know. What do you think we should do? Busaya asked Finya as they stood in front of the mysterious mummified skull, which had just been carved, still featuring the upper left side of the face. Busaya was in no rush. A two-dimensional model had been created and they were now waiting for information about the missing person, hoping that police might find a useful clue. However, there had been no updates that showed anything that could help identify the man. Everything seemed to have reached a dead end. The charter company has been closed indefinitely. The retrieval of the black boxes did not provide much new information, other than confirming that 2 shots were heard before the plane lost contact about 8 minutes later. This is consistent with previous assumptions that there was a gunfight on board the plane before the tragic event occurred. 11 of the 15 deceased passengers were identified. No additional details about the identity or purpose of the anonymous skull were found, although the passenger list and destination suggest it was related to an auction or trade. The crucial questions, beyond the identity of the skull's owner, are who did this? Why? And how the body was prepared. This field is not broad, especially the niche market of ancient Egyptian artifacts. So how could they track down such a rare individual? Although he is an anthropologist, his knowledge is limited compared to Songwhat. I was thinking. Finya answered flatly. The conversation with Songwhat from 2 days ago was still fresh in her mind. She wasn't sure if continuing this investigation was worth the risk, but as an anthropologist, just leaving it alone without any action didn't seem right. Or maybe there will be more deaths. The female doctor from England sighed with a worried expression while using a ruler to measure the length of the rib, which was incomplete due to the impact or explosion. It's a shame I just got back and don't know the area very well, said Finya with worry. We have tried our best. Busiah, who is shaping clay to form the muscle structure on the left forehead of the mysterious skull, spoke up. After that, they didn't talk about anything anymore. Both of them were lost in their own thoughts and responsibilities. Busiah occasionally glanced at Finya, trying not to make her notice. She didn't like her friend's anxious expression and quiet and uncomplaining attitude. After living together for some time, she knew clearly that Finya was under significant stress, as everything seemed to be at a dead end. Although she invited to help identify the victims of the incident as experts, both were fully aware that their role was limited to that of consultants and did not include conducting an investigation. For now, they could only wait to see if the police would be able to find any information about the unidentified man. They knew full well that the longer they waited, the worse the situation would become, potentially leading to more deaths. The disturbing aspect is that both she and Finya believe that the appearance of the skull in this mummified state indicates an unnatural death. This is the most pressing issue today. Examination of the lower jawbone, which was fractured, ruled out deformation due to damage from wrapping or transportation. The only remaining hypotheses were an explosion or impact, and most importantly, injuries before death. The fracture, which ran from the top to the bottom of the jaw, was 4 centimeters long. If the damage was caused by an explosion or impact, it seemed too small. Therefore, Busiah leaned towards the theory that the individual was injured before he died. She knew Finya was thinking along the same lines, which explained her worried expression. Apart from the plane crash, it doesn't seem to be an accident or a disaster. Furthermore, the mysterious mummy skull may also be a case of murder. The ringing of the telephone broke the silence and cold air in the laboratory. Finya, who was close to the phone, answered the call. She saw the light on the 4th number button of the phone. Yes, it's Dr. Finya speaking. She replied, causing Busiah, who was busy smoothing clay with a small spatula, to look up. All right, we'll be on our way. She then hung up. The professor is calling. Okay. Busiah answered, quickly taking off her gloves and throwing them in the trash. Within 10 minutes, the two of them were in the office of the director of the Biological Research Institute, who was observing them closely. Professor is still not used to seeing this, Associate Professor Nisara teased her 2 students. I think I have to call you 2 more often to get used to it. This remark made the listeners sitting side by side smile and glance at each other automatically. Why did you call us? The retired professor is something that might be useful, the middle-aged woman said, leaning back in her office chair. But I'm not sure how much it will help you. Her gaze remained fixed on her former PhD student intently. Professor Ramesh just got back. By the way, do you remember Professor Ramesh? Yes, I remember you asked me to consult on a research project, Busiah replied. I called him earlier, but the university said Dr. Ramesh is still away on a field trip. Is he back now? Yes. The director confirmed. He sent an email saying his publication was accepted. He is listed as the 4th author. Really? Congratulations, Professor. Busiah said with a smile. By the way, my work is done. I will send it back to you for review and then submit it for publication. Okay, thank you, the director replied. And when will Busiah take on the role of co-advisor? The director continued. We need to get the associate professor's approval. I'm not in a rush. If anyone needs it before me, go ahead. Busiah replied quickly before hearing Professor Nisara chuckle softly. Actually, just my PhD is enough for me. What about Finya? The director turned to the person sitting next to Busia. Me? Asked Finya. You said you had finished your raw data collection. Oh, yes, Professor. Finya replied. I am currently entering the data into the program. The results will be ready by the end of this month. Okay, if you guys want to talk to Professor Ramesh about anything, please let me know, said the director. Yes, Professor. Both of them answered almost simultaneously, which made their supervisor, who was sitting across from them, smile. Chapter 32. Do you know Professor Ramesh? Finya asked as the two walked for coffee during their lunch break after finishing a meeting with their academic advisors. Yes, I know him. He once asked our professor to be one of his advisors for a research project and a member of his PhD defense committee. I even attended his defense. Busia replied, slowly sipping coffee from the paper cup. He also asked our professor to write him a letter of recommendation when he went to do some work in Zurich. Really? Finya nodded thoughtfully. What's his profile like? He's really great. Another replied, gently picking up a piece of bread with a toothpick and taking a bite. He's one of the few people who studies ancient civilizations in an archaeological context. His focus is on the Mesopotamian era, something like that. I tried calling him yesterday, but he hasn't returned. Do you think we should talk to him? I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Plus, since the professor recommended it, maybe we should. But I don't think he's like Songwat, who's a bit suspicious. The young researcher gave her opinion. Come to think of it, I'm not sure what his intentions were when he kept bothering me all that time. You're lucky you didn't get too involved with him. Of course, I didn't respond. He keeps texting, and it's annoying, she said, watching the person in front of her smirk. Don't you dare smile. That's annoying too. Oh, come on, Bualoy. Are you always this upset? Finya scolded, I can't even smile? Your face is so annoying, Busia cut her off. I'll call and make an appointment with Professor Ramesh. He knows me, so it shouldn't be a problem. Dr. Finya walked down the hall to the office of Dr. Ramesh, a professor of archaeology at a university, who had been recommended by Professor Nisara. She suggested that they consult him, as he was one of the few experts on ancient civilizations in Thailand. Beside him was Bua, who still looked half asleep, her eyes tired behind her square glasses. Hurry up, ma'am. Are you awake? Hey, your long legs. Another complained, trying to keep up. Can you take shorter steps? Oh, it's you. Go ahead. Bua continued, while the other woman frowned at her. Which room? The second to fast the hallway. Finya walked a little further towards the door, with Busia following her closely. She glanced at Bua, who nodded before knocking on the door. Come in. Came the deep voice of a young man from inside, giving them permission to enter. As the door opened and they stepped inside, Bua could immediately feel his scientific presence. Behind his desk, where a blackboard was mounted, were pinned research papers on one side, showcasing scientific experimental methods. On the other side, were photographs of ancient relics, including stone platforms, laterite, and various archaeological sites, with about 20 to 30 images mixed together. Hello, Professor Ramesh. Do you remember me? Both of them greeted him with a respectful "Why," and Bua was the first to speak. Of course, I remember you. He replied and stood up to greet the two guests. Please sit down, he said, pointing to the long living room sofa. This is Dr. Finya. Bua introduced, sitting down as invited, while the man walked to the coffee table in the far corner of the room to get 2 bottles of water and clear glasses for them. It's been a long time since we last met, ma'am. How is Professor Nisara? He asked. She's fine. She said you should visit the institute if you have time, Bua replied with a smile. I will definitely go and pay my respects to her," he promised with a smile. Meanwhile, Finya took the opportunity to observe him closely. The man was slightly taller than her, with pale skin that suggested mixed Chinese ancestry. He wore a light-colored shirt with black pants, neatly matched. He appeared to be in his early 40s. "What brings you here today? Is there anything I can help you with?" "Okay." Busia hesitated, looking at her partner, unsure where to start. "We are here to seek your expertise," Finya took the lead. "I have just been given a task by Professor Nisara," she began to explain. "Our institute is interested in opening an exhibition on the civilizations that flourished during the historical period." The young doctor continued, though she refrained from revealing the true purpose of their visit, as it was classified information related to an ongoing investigation. "Where do you think we should start, Professor? Is there a particular era that particularly interests you, Dr. Finya?" he asked. "I was thinking something from Asia or beyond, besides the part that would focus on our own country's heritage, that's for sure," she replied, glancing at Bua, who nodded in agreement. "If we talk about this region, it is most likely a Chinese or Indian civilization," he suggested simply, knowing that both countries have a long history, spanning thousands of years. Not to mention, there are many hypotheses regarding migration and sediment from thousands of years ago. "I'm not very knowledgeable in this area," Finya admitted humbly. "When I'm abroad, they're more interested in civilizations like Greece, Rome, or Egypt. In fact, for exhibitions outside Asia, I am more inclined towards Egypt." "Egypt is interesting," Ramesh agreed in his calm voice. "I thought so too," the young doctor said with a smile. "It's well known, and I'm sure it will attract a lot of attention. Professor Nisara mentioned that you're quite skilled, so we wanted to introduce ourselves. If we need further assistance in the future, we might have to bother you more often." "Actually, I wasn't interested in this field at first," Ramesh admits. "One of my close friends was fascinated by it, and I got dragged into it." "Is that so?" Busia replied. "And was that when you went to Zurich to research ancient mummies?" "Yes, that's right," he replied politely. "How much interest is there in this civilization in our country?" The assistant director began asking broader questions, trying not to get too specific about the case they were working on. "It's a pretty niche group," he replied. "Not very well known. Most people can't even name the Egyptian gods." "That's true," Bua added with a laugh. "Egyptian mythology makes me dizzy when I read it." "Exactly," joked Ramesh. "Professor Nisara has great foresight. I think these topics might attract more attention from arithropology, as she had hoped." "We agree," they said. "Then what about ancient artifacts from Egyptian civilization? How much interest is there in our country?" Finya took the opportunity to ask. "Not much, as far as I know," Ramesh replied. "It's actually quite niche. But it's there, we just don't know about it because it's a small, niche interest group. They're people who share the same beliefs." "Are we talking about something like a cult?" asked the lab leader. "Not really," he replied. "Not that big, just a group of people with a common interest. At first, it was mostly importing amulets or statues to worship. Because these items are rare, their value has increased significantly, and anything that is valuable will naturally attract those who want to sell it for more." Ramesh explains. "I've heard something like that," said the young woman sitting next to Bua. "What about the trade market in our country?" "Our market is very small," he replied. "There is some activity, but rare items can fetch exorbitant prices." "Is there any replica production here?" Finya asked. "You mean high-quality counterfeit goods?" he replied. "Something like that. In our country, I'm not sure, but in other places, there definitely are," he replied. "I heard from Professor Nisara that you went to observe the mummification process. Is that true?" Busia asked this time. Yes, he said. The research institute there recently allowed experiments on animal remains, specifically the mummification process. Animal experiments? Finya repeated, and Ramesh just nodded. That's a pretty big step forward. He explains. Because getting ethical approval for animal testing is not easy. That's true. The British-educated doctor agreed. I've seen a lot of protests against it. It will give us some insight into the wisdom of ancient civilizations, the professor added. And in our country? Finya hesitated before asking. If we wanted to do something like that, is it possible, and where can it be done? Mummification has long been a field of interest, and research into it continues. He explains. In ancient times, they used natural processes like soil, wind, and sunlight. But today, there is technology that can imitate nature quite well. He then glances at his watch. Humans have always excelled at imitating nature. The two women nodded in agreement. Ramesh stood up, walked over to his desk, and pulled a blue folder from the shelf. He handed it over to Bua, who opened it with great interest. It includes the mummification process he mentioned, but it was done on animal specimens, or rather, animal remains. Bua saw pictures of monkeys and gibbons, with their dry skin clinging to their bones and their skin darkening. Monkeys, so closely related to humans, are often the first creatures scientists think of for experiments, along with rats and rabbits. That's what I wanted to observe. Ramesh explained as he sat back down, and Bua handed the folder to Finya. They can actually do this in the lab, Bua comments. This is a research project that has just begun. There is a lot more to be done. Ramesh told them. This should answer your question about whether it is possible or not. However, in our country, it is not possible. In this field here will not pass the ethics review. Also, very few people are studying. Is this a UV machine? Bua, a physical anthropologist, asked with interest, pointing to a device that looked like a stainless steel cabinet, about 2 meters tall, with nearly 20 light tubes inside. Yes, it's a UVB and UVC machine, he confirmed. It mimics natural sunlight. They tested to see the different effects of UVA, UVB, and UVC, based on the hypothesis that sunlight is a key factor in the mummification process. Amazing. Bua said in awe. The three of them continued their conversation for a while longer before Bua and Finya took their leave. They had already started experimenting on animals. Finya said, sitting down in a chair, exhausted, setting her things down on the coffee table in front of the long sofa. I had heard about it, but the ethical issues were still a major hurdle at the time. The important thing is that it can really be done. The owner of the room said to Finya, who was lying in a half-sitting and half-lying position. I really feel that I am too narrow-minded in this area. She said that as she sat down next to Finya and handed her a bottle of water. Regardless of whether you believe it or not, it is true. I told you to come out and open your eyes a little. I always see you cooped up in the lab all day. It's a safe zone, she replied. Some people are afraid of bones or samples, so not many dare to bother me. Finya nodded in understanding at the reasons given. Not only did I have to drag you out of bed, I also had to drag you out of the lab. The female assistant grumbled. You're a very complicated person, Bibua. Humans are complicated. The person next to her protested. Dr. Busaya once said that. That made Finya sigh in mock annoyance at her friend's teasing. Like humans trying to make mummies and giving us all a headache, it's pretty complicated. It's not complicated, they're just trying not to act like humans, the female assistant replied, simply this time with a laugh. Maybe they're trying to act like invertebrates. To have such a powerful ability and then use it on a fellow human like this, what a waste. Bibua said sarcastically. It's funny to think about, but I can't laugh. After that, the conversation fell silent. Finya shifted to take a sip from her water bottle, while Bibua slumped onto the couch, exhausted. She couldn't help but glance at her friend through her square-rimmed glasses, at least feeling that she wasn't alone in this madness. Has Songwoo contacted you? Baibua asked after a moment of silence. I thought he might have contacted you instead. I haven't seen anything from him. I think he might know something, but he probably won't let it out easily. I don't know, said the assistant director. Sometimes he seems like a commoner whose income is not enough to cover his extravagant spending. He seems stingy. So, what are you going to do with the scarab? The room's owner continued, taking off her glasses and rubbing her nose. I need to rest my eyes for a while. After that, she lay down on Finya's lap. I should probably just go with the flow. Is that what you mean? Finya replied, gently stroking the head of the person lying down. Where do you think this river will end? If we don't try, we won't know, right? That's true. She sighed and closed her eyes. Hey, if you fall asleep here, I'm leaving you here, I'm not carrying you to the bedroom. Finya scolded as Bua seemed to fall asleep immediately after closing her eyes. My back is going to hurt. You're not that old, why does your back hurt? Because I have to carry you. She replied with a laugh. How can someone sleep anywhere, anytime? It's a hassle for me to carry you to bed, isn't it? Just let me sleep, Busaya answered weakly. Sleeping on the floor is not good, Baibua. No problem, whatever. You are really good at creeping. I'm just practicing how to stay parallel to the Earth's surface. This girl is always looking for an excuse, isn't she? If it was before, with her old prejudice, Finya would probably be annoyed and frustrated by the endless back and forth. But now, all she could do was smile, amazed at how this woman seemed to have absorbed the entire library into her brain. Every word that came out of his mouth was so well thought out, even though sometimes it made no sense at all. Simply put, you could call it, making it up. Are you going back to the Stone Age, you sleepyhead? Still, Finya couldn't help but joke back. I know why you don't have a boyfriend. Baibua suddenly blurted out. Because you nag too much. I was just nagging at you. Dr. Finn, you really have no charm. Okay, then don't fall in love with me, Walloi. Just make sure you don't fall in love with me. That response earned Baibua a light pinch on her arm from the person sitting next to her. Oh, Finn. Tonight, I will make sure you can't say a single word. Just you wait. Although it's not a good thing, I have to say that without this craziness, I wouldn't have known this version of Finya. Baibua's hand gently touched the side of the person's face, her eyes sparkling. And I wouldn't have had the chance to know how adorable this fiery Finya is. Say who? Finya stroked Baibua's head gently. Maybe you made me this Finya, Baibua. I want to be the kind of person you can trust completely, knowing that I will never hurt you. Thank you, Finn. Busaya said before closing her eyes slowly. Thank you very much. Chapter 33. A client bid 25 million. The assistant director's casual voice sounded as she approached Busaya, who was sitting reading a newly published academic research paper. In her right hand, she held a red pen for corrections. Why are you still correcting after sending it? Busaya looked up through her glasses at the visitor who had taken a seat at her table. Just checking to see if I missed anything, she replied. So, what do you say about the 25 million? Your boyfriend found me a client who offered 25 million, Finya repeated. Too cheap. Whose boyfriend? Busaya asked sharply. Since when did I have a boyfriend? You're making this up, she muttered, before returning to her paperwork. All I got from your long speech is that you don't have a girlfriend, Finya said, crossing her arms and looking down at her. So, you're saying you don't have a girlfriend? As far as I know, no. Busaya replied with a stern expression, avoiding eye contact, is that true? Bua. Finya dragged out her words in a sarcastic tone. Then who is the woman who's sleeping in your bed this morning without a single pakalari? I don't know. I don't remember, she replied nonchalantly. Maybe she's from housekeeping? Keep making excuses. You'll miss me when I'm gone, Finya teased. So, we're not selling? Busia got back to the point. 25 million. It's not mine to sell. How could I sell it? You're just talking nonsense. Pretend you're going to sell it. People like that wouldn't talk if they didn't get any benefits. To be honest, I don't think we'll get much out of Songwhat. With someone like you, you should have some tricks up your sleeve to get him to spill the beans. I mean, you've been in this industry before, Bua said. Seriously, I don't know the market price or anything, so I can't say much. But if you think the price is too low, why not try negotiating? In the end, we'll decide whether to sell or not, and you probably won't sell anyway, right? Right? The English-educated doctor nodded slowly, then took his cell phone to reply to Songwhat's message. Is there anything to do this morning? Finya asked as she put away her phone, unsure whether what she did was the right thing. Afternoon. Busia nodded toward the pile of bones on the examination table. There used to be a lot of bone fragments, but today, only a few remained, and some had been separated. 3 more bodies, the lab director said. I'll finish this one, then move on to the next one. But if Dr. Finya doesn't have anything to do this morning, I need your help. Okay, said Dr. Finya. Did the police find anything new? They're in the final stages of clearing the internal debris to clean up the site. Another person said. But they still haven't found the weapon at the scene. I wonder where it went when it exploded. It looks like the rental company is going to lose its license and close down for good forever. That's possible. Bua agreed, glancing at Finya, who grabbed a pair of gloves from a box on the corner of the table and began to put them on. I'll handle it myself, said the assistant director. You can go ahead and check the work and start modeling. Thank you. Bua said, looking at Finya, who responded with a smile before heading to the examination table to begin her work. Less than an hour later, the notification sound from Finya's cell phone, which was placed on the cupboard not far from the autopsy bed, rang. Your boyfriend? Finya teased, reading Songwhat's message. He said someone else bid 30 million. He has a lot of clients. Busia said, turning to look at her. Did he tell you who they are? No, Finya replied. But I'll try my way. Hearing that, Bua rushed over. What did you reply to? She asked as she leaned forward to read the message on her phone. I'm just playing with human greed. Finya replied, turning to the woman whose face was now so close that their noses were almost touching. She then teased the top of Bua's head teasingly. Finya, someone will see. Bua warned while looking around nervously. Why? Since when do I care? Finya's words made Bua wrinkle her nose in reaction. So what do you reply? I said, if the client is willing, I will negotiate directly and raise the commission from 4 to 6%. Finya said, ending with a wink. Depends on how greedy Songwhat is. Otherwise, I'll raise it to 8. Quite generous, Dr. Finya, Bua teased. I just want to end this mess that's been bothering me, Finya explained. Then after that, you and I can talk about us. How about that? The seriousness in Finya's tone made Busia look at her through her glasses, and she slowly nodded in agreement. Maybe it was time to explain her allegation, because Bua herself felt uncomfortable, feeling that she might be taking advantage of Finya. It was not fair to both of their feelings. Agreed. The young researcher replied in a steady voice. Once this mess is over, let's talk. At this time, Dr. Finya was sitting in a semi-bar restaurant in the capital at around 5 p.m. Beside her was Songwhat, and across from them was a man in his late 40s, watching her intently. Nice to meet you, Dr. Finya. Fanyawat said in a soft voice, accompanied by a smile that didn't quite suit Finya. I heard from Mr. Songwhat that you're in the inner circle, he added vaguely. Yeah. Dr. Finya hesitated, unsure how to respond to his comment. That's it. I just work in the field. Not making enough money every month? He continued. So, you're looking for more? He chuckled softly after speaking. Finya narrowed her eyes, becoming more cautious. She had guessed that this man was not an ordinary person from his tone and behavior, but she wasn't sure how far from ordinary he really was. Is he just a suspicious person, or is he truly corrupt? People are like that, no one is completely clean. Everyone has a dark side in this cruel world. Even he himself once had a reputation as a criminal in his generation. But as time went by, things changed. As someone who studies human evolution, Finya feels fortunate because her field of study has taught her many things, including the difference between being a person and being a human. Being a person is easy, but being a real human is much harder. One of the main traits that humans have, which ordinary humans do not have, is the ability to distinguish between what is pleasant and what is true. Humans tend to prefer what is fun over what is right. Finya used to be someone who followed her desires. She often chose to do whatever would give her what she wanted, without thinking much about what was right. Perseverance and patience were not her strong points. She was stubborn, quick-tempered, and unwilling to accept defeat. Her mouth often worked faster than her brain, speaking without considering how it would affect others. Looking back, Finya now feels very grateful to Professor Nisara, who always believed in her. And there was someone else too, someone she was now trying to show that she was no longer become the impulsive Finya. Unfortunately, her past stubbornness came back to haunt her, negatively impacting her life now. Although Finya is starting to choose to do what is right over what pleases her, and although her quick tongue remains, her brain is finally starting to catch up. Life experiences have taught her invaluable lessons. One is how easy it is to follow others, especially when it comes to doing what feels right. The problem is that often, what most people think is right is actually the opposite, and life is full of these pitfalls. This has been the case throughout history and will likely continue to be the case in the future. We can't expect everything to go our way. Life is not that simple. Humanity has experienced many hardships over the centuries, but we have survived by adapting to change. Sometimes, we have to learn to do what is right, even if it is not what we want, in order to survive. Sometimes, it's not all about money. The young doctor replied calmly, a small smile forming on her lips. Is that so? The man chuckled, leaning back in his chair. In front of them was only a glass of water, and they had not ordered any food. I don't see any other reason. What about you? If not for money, then what? Well, if money was my priority, I wouldn't be sitting here right now, she replied. But I don't blame anyone who works for money because, for some people, it might be the only thing left in their life. Life is hard without money. Fanyuwat commented with a smile. I'm not going to deny it, Finya admitted. But for me, dedicating my whole life to living for that feels a bit demeaning. I think life should be more than that. He simply responded with a laugh. So, about my offer of 30 million. Is that a done deal? I'll pay cash. Other people offered me a little more, Finya smiled. But I haven't agreed to them yet because I want to talk to you first. If we hit it off, maybe price won't be the first consideration. Oh, really? Fanyuwat replied. Then, I am starting to believe that money is not your top priority. I want to find a partner for a long-term business. Finya explains. I just came back from overseas, so I want to get to know people in the industry. That way, when something comes my way, I'll know who the right buyer is. I understand. His interlocutor nodded. Don't hesitate to contact me directly if something came up. After that, he adjusted his position, reached into his coat pocket, and took out a business card, then handed it to Finya. She read the business card, Fanyuwat Sapwabun. Don't worry, Dr. Songwat, about the commission. She turned to the man who had introduced Fanyuwat to her. I'll take care of it. And for sales in the future, I will contact you directly. Finya added. However, this item, I may have to choose the buyer carefully. To be honest, the person who offered it is quite attached to it. If you change your mind and want me to take care of it, just let me know, Fanyawat said. With pleasure, Mr. Fanyawat, she replied politely. May I ask who bid the highest for this item? The question made Finya purse her lips in thought. Perhaps, if she answered carefully, it might give her some useful information. She felt that Songwat was staring at her, waiting for her response. Actually, this person did not come through Dr. Songwat, she said hesitantly. But through a friend of mine. Then, Finya saw him nod in acknowledgement. Mr. Peepat Kalayakit, do you know about him? Finya realized that the question made her audience shift slightly in their chairs, because the name she mentioned was related to Peepat Chayakit, the younger brother of Pichai Chayakit, a famous antique dealer who had recently died in a tragic plane crash. In fact, Pichai was one of the first victims to be identified and returned, because his body was not badly damaged, which made the identification process faster. Finya mentioned Peepat's name because he thought it was the most plausible lead. The world of Egyptian antiquities trade is not so vast here. By then, Peepat had taken over the business, as Finya found out by calling the shop located in a well-known department store. Is that so? He said after a moment's hesitation. I heard his brother just died. Really? The young woman feigned ignorance. I don't know. I know Mr. Pichai a little. Songwat, who had been silent throughout the conversation, added, but not Peepat because he tends to lower his prices quite a bit. Songwat smiled sarcastically. It's tough competition, joked the young doctor. More or less like that. Songwat replied with a big laugh. That's why I'm more dealing with Pichai. It's a shame his life ended so soon. Right before the plane crash, I was actually still talking to him. Is he on that plane? Finya adjusted her tone and facial expression to feign surprise. Yes. The young professor replied calmly. So, was it really an accident? The young doctor asked, curious. Songwat seemed like an insider, though he didn't reveal much. I only heard the news when I got back, Finya added. That's what I hear from antique dealers, he said. But you know how these stories go, you have to take them with a grain of salt. Well? Fanyawat interrupted, now that we know each other. He stood up after speaking. Please feel free to contact me anytime after you have made your decision. It was a pleasure meeting you, Dr. Finya. You're welcome. Finya just watched the man leave the restaurant before glancing at the business card he had given her, reading the name again, and then slipping it into her pocket. So, did Professor Songwat hear that the plane crash was really an accident? The young doctor continued the previous conversation after Fanyawat left the restaurant area. She saw the young man nod in acknowledgement. Yes. The young professor replied. I was shocked when I first heard the news, he continued. I had just been discussing ancient mummies with him. I remember very well that he told me that the exhibition in Paris, which he was going to visit before the accident, would feature ancient human remains with over 100 guests in attendance. He even invited me to join him, but I have a seminar here. Otherwise. This matched the news she had heard from her friend in England. The young assistant, who had originally planned to leave, decided to order a few more dishes to extend his conversation with Songwat. Maybe he knew more valuable information. Who else is on the plane? She asked as she waited for the food she had just ordered. Most of the people were from Mr. Pichai's circle. I think he chartered the plane because he wanted to make huge profits from commission fees, but unfortunately, tragedy struck first. From what I heard, all the passengers were wealthy antique collectors. The antique dealer community has suffered significant losses this time. And what about the mummy he talked to you about? How far has that gone in our country? Songwat, who had been watching her, turned his attention to the waiter as they brought out the food. I'm trying to stay informed since I haven't been here much. Finya said, taking the moment to prevent him from becoming suspicious with her detailed questions. Mr. Pichai is very involved in this, but with Peepat, I'm not so sure. Really? Songwhat just nodded in response. I plan to meet with Mr. Peepat. Would you be interested in coming along? I'd rather not go. She quickly declined. If I find anything, I'll let you know. And if I manage to close the deal with Mr. Peepat, I'll give you 3% as a commission for your efforts. That's completely unnecessary, Dr. Finya, he replied. I don't really care about that. I am grateful that you agreed to help with the student internship situation. That is a separate issue, Professor Songwhat, Finya said. I do not mix both of these things or change them to conditions. If I find anything, I'll let you know. Okay, whatever you decide, Dr. Finya, he replied. Chapter 34. What are you doing, Baibua? Finya leaned forward before plopping herself down on the long sofa beside the room owner after returning from the restaurant. She saw Busaya's face full of wrinkles, her gaze fixed on the computer screen in front of her. She didn't even bother answering the previous question. Came the short reply, indicating that she had heard Finya's question. Is not an answer, Finya commented jokingly. What do you see? I've been feeling strange since we went to see Professor Ramesh at the university that day, so I decided to dig up some information about him. What do you mean by Anch? I wasn't sure. Bua replied vaguely. So I started looking into published research. And did you find anything? Nothing. She replied flatly. So, what exactly feels strange to you? Finya asked in confusion. I don't know. Come on. What are you talking about? Finya exclaimed, confused by her friend's vague response. I think it's the guy who seems to know something about Songwhat customs. He knows Pichai too. Finya said. Pichai, the deceased Korshan? Yes. The young doctor from England answered in a low tone. So, what do you think? What should we do next? I don't know right now, I'm stuck, Bua admitted. It feels like we're getting somewhere but also nowhere at the same time. A long sigh followed, and she leaned back on the couch. What do you think we should do? Help me think about it. We have 2 clients. One is the younger brother of the person who died in the plane crash with a pristine skull, and the other, we are still not sure who they are. There is also a broker who also knew the deceased. Busaya concluded as she pushed her glasses up her nose with the back of her hand. I've been thinking about it since I left the restaurant, trying to figure out which way we should go. Finya said, her voice sounding tired. Our only advantage is that they probably don't know that we were the ones who identified the crash victims and that we know about the skull. We have to keep it a secret. If the people behind this know that we know, everything will immediately turn against us. Busaya advised. If things get too difficult, we might have to hand it over to the police. Finya heard Bua take a deep breath. Now, we know from Professor Ramesh that mummies can be recreated with tools that are readily available for purchase. Bua said, and Finya nodded in agreement. The big question is, if we assume the skulls we found in the wreckage were made here, where were they made? Not much space. Busaya nodded in agreement with the person sitting next to her. Did you find anything from what you saw? Professor Ramesh? Not much. Just a long list of published research papers. Is that so? The young assistant replied. And is there anything to do with mummies? Or ancient Egypt? And what I see, nothing. The woman replied, still focused on her laptop. Most of his work is in social anthropology. Maybe he's just starting out in it and hasn't published anything yet. Then we probably won't get anything good out of it, Finya observed. I think so too. By the way, I plan to check out Mr. Peepat's shop tomorrow. Let's go this afternoon. I'll come with you, said Bua. Aren't you going back to your room to rest? Who would let you go alone? Are you worried about me? No. Bua immediately denied. Who would worry about you? No way. If you keep talking like that, I'll kiss you. Finya teased, causing the woman to quickly cover her lips. Come on. Finya then tapped the tip of Bua's chin. We haven't kissed today. Isn't it okay not to kiss every day? Bua said, pushing Finya's hand away. Go take a shower and brush your teeth first. Otherwise, I'll never think about doing it. Bye Bua. Finya said the name quickly before hugging Bua from the side and resting her forehead on the researcher's shoulder. Come on, don't sleep in the room if you smell. I let you have dinner with me a man today. Don't be stubborn. You're better anyway. Finya's nose pressed against Bua's neck, making her flinch. I mean, having dinner with you. Finya muttered. Go take a shower. Bua said as Finya's lips caressed her neck. However, Finya pulled her into a hug and started kissing her entire neck. Just a moment. Finya. I told you, if you keep talking like that, I'll kiss you. Finya said, following through on her threat before Bua could react. You don't have to keep this promise every time. Bua said, a little breathless after Finya pulled away. It's better to take a shower. Finya said lightly before kissing Bua's cheek again, then stood up and happily ran to the bathroom. You crazy girl. Bua grumbled as she watched Finya leave, though she couldn't help but smile at the deliciousness of the kiss. Bua was standing in a large antique shop, much larger than 2 rooms, in the afternoon. She looked around with interest, realizing that she had never had the opportunity to visit such a place before. In fact, she had not been out much at all, except between her bedroom and the research building. In the past few months, she had spent more time outside than she had in the past 10 years. Such was the life of a researcher. You often saw more of the walls of your laboratory than the walls of your bedroom. Often, your bedroom and your laboratory were the same. It was a sad thing. Fortunately, Bua had not chosen to pursue molecular biology like Feng, who sometimes fell asleep reading the results of her experiments at 2 or 3 in the morning. But if she had followed a more action-oriented path like Finya, she probably would not have succeeded. She would have been overwhelmed. However, she is proud and does her best in the role she has chosen to play herself. Bua stood looking at a large wooden frame, about 2 by 2 meters, with a gold numit design on sides she didn't recognize. The price tag stunned her. 650,000 baht. Meanwhile, Finya also walked around with great interest, even though she didn't recognize more than 90% of the items in the shop. That's almost the entire annual gap. That made sense, since he wasn't particularly interested in such things, even when people tried to lure him into the antiquities trade by suggesting that he could secretly sell valuables from museums or newly discovered sites. This was a significant source of income in his anthropology career, and the numbers were substantial despite the ease of the work. She might prefer a more challenging job. However, someone like Dr. Finya has more pride. Spending time nearly 20 years of study only to be involved in such trivial matters would feel like an insult to her intelligence and soul. Or, if she chooses to stay in England, it might be the biggest mistake of her life. She glanced at the culture, which was studying a painting on the wall not too far away, and felt grateful for whatever had made her decide to come back here. Bua glanced at the large craft store and felt grateful for whatever had made her decide to come here. What had started out as a quick visit to clear her mind now felt more meaningful. Finya, sensing this new purpose, joined Bua beside her and whispered, "Is there anything that interests you?" Bua adjusted her glasses to get a better look at the price tags on the paintings she was examining. "Honestly, I don't recognize any of these works," she admitted. "How can I appreciate their value if I don't know what they are?" "That's true," Finya agreed. "Knowing more about something can definitely increase its sentimental value." "Why do you sound like you're drunk?" Bua teased Finya. "Maybe it's being around you. You have a way of making things seem weird." Bua rolled her eyes. "Hey. Finya continued. Did you find anything interesting? Interesting? Bua echoed with furrowed brows. Well. She looked around, still not seeing anything interesting. Not yet. Hello. A man with slightly yellowish skin and a small build appeared from the back of the shop. Sorry to keep you waiting, I was on the phone. Both Bua and Finya immediately recognized him from the police case file. His face was similar with a brother who died in a plane crash. Bua and Finya had seen the photos when Mr. Pichai's body was identified and returned to the police station. Mr. Peepat was dressed in black, probably mourning the death of his brother. Hello. Finya greeted him, nothing whether Peepat recognized her from the phone call she had made to ask about the shop a few days ago. Whether Peepat recognizes it or not, Finya plans to play her part to reveals whether Peepat knows something suspicious about the mysterious mummy skull that has been bothering her. However, the appearance of this shop does not indicate any direct connection to ancient Egyptian artifacts. Is there anything specific you're looking for? Peepat asked politely, as any good shopkeeper should. I just found this place interesting and wanted to check it out, Finya explained. We were looking for something to decorate the room with. Our shop has a lot of choices, said Peepat. We have lamps, photo frames, vases, and antique tableware, mostly from Europe. Like this lamp, he said, pointing to a tall inverted glass lamp with 4 transparent globes, each containing a ball of the lamp, which hung slightly above Bua's head. This is from Austria, made in 1970. Bua was captivated by the object she saw. It was a metal amulet in the shape of the Eye of Horus, known in Egyptian mythology as a powerful protective talisman. She had heard of it before, but had never seen it in person. That thing over there, she said, pointing to the amulet in the glass case. I feel a connection with it, even though I'm not very familiar with such things. Finya, who played along, added. I don't really know much about these things either. Is there anything else that can be seen? Peepat explained that such items were rare and only available occasionally, then took a file from behind the cashier's desk, which turned out to be an album documenting items previously sold in the store, including their origins and prices. As Peepat leafed through the album, he detailed the history of the various objects. Bua and Finya listened attentively. Although the visit was casual, they noticed that Peepat seemed open and honest, providing thorough information about each object. Bua browsed through the album until she saw a particular photo. She called Finya by name, slowly pointing to a picture of a man holding a carved wooden frame. Finya, Bua said with a slight tremor in her voice, look at this, do you recognize this man? Finya squinted at the photo, trying to remember where she had seen that face before. After a moment, she nodded with a hint of recognition. I really like this frame, Bua said, trying to control her nervousness. Do you have a similar one? There is a similar one behind, replied Peepat. I will get it for you. As Peepat disappeared into the back room, Bua's mind raced. The man in the photo might have connections or information relevant to their investigation. This man, Finya stammered. Tell me if I'm wrong. How could it be wrong? I am the one who created his face and it is currently doing his face. She replied. He is the nameless man, the mysterious skull. His picture is here. Finya immediately grabbed her phone and took a picture with her shaking hands. Shortly afterward, Peepat came out carrying a frame and started talking about his background, but neither of them were concentrating enough to listen at the moment. Actually, I really like this piece, Finya said, pointing to a photo of a man holding a frame. Can you contact this person for me? I want to negotiate with him in case he wants to sell it. I'll check it for you, the man said politely. And I'll take that Eye of Horus too, said the female assistant, barely bargaining to buy Peepat's trust. If you find anything, please call me back. Bua then asked for a paper to write down her phone number. The two of them rushed back to Bua's condominium. Although they were sure that the man seen in the picture at Peepat's shop was the nameless man, the mysterious skull, they need to confirm it again by comparing it in a facial recognition program. Bua immediately told Finya to send the photo to her and then started what she wanted to do. The two didn't talk much after returning because they were still in shock and waiting for the results of the comparison. The verification results matched 91%. Bua said after about 2 hours, still glued to the computer screen, with a tense expression. "I thought so. You managed to create a perfect two-dimensional model," Finya praised. "So, what should we do next? Now that we know he is involved in the antiques trade, we need to find out who he is. Let's just wait for Mr. Peepat to contact us again with any information he may have," Finya said. "You seem confident we'll find something. Transactions like this usually involve storing some customer information," Finya explained. "If there is a further transaction or if the buyer wants to resell it. As I told him in the store will receive a commission." Bua nodded in understanding. "And what about the amulet we bought?" she asked, nodding at the amulet. "Actually, the amulet was intended for this institution," the person who bought it replied. "It's a new item, not too old, maybe less than 50 years old." "Oh!" Bua exclaimed. "How can you tell which is new and which is old?" "Stains, watermarks, signs of use, corrosion, and wear and tear over time," Finya replied. "This one has almost none of that. There's barely any rust, it's not even 5 years old. The land is empty. I have absolutely no idea." "Well, I like looking at skulls," replied another. "So many bones fused together, with additional bones growing in to house the brain and accommodate the 5 senses. It evolved over millions of years. Isn't that amazing? Not to mention the various foramina through which the skull passes." "Amazing. That's because you were too focused on studying the chimpanzee skull. The more I think about how we evolved and adapted to survive over millions of years to end up in the world we have today, the sadder it seems," said the young female physical anthropologist, with a smug air. "Crazy woman. Why wasn't I an extinct species before?" "Well, that would take us a long time to meet," Finya replied, making the previous person. The talkative one hesitated upon hearing that and looked at Finya through her small glasses. "Why? Did I say something wrong?" Finya asked, noticing Bua's sudden change in expression, which left Bua momentarily at a loss for words. "No." "Then why stare? What's wrong with me looking at you? Is there a problem? Are you looking for trouble or something? Have you lost your mind from being too sleep a lot?" Bua, who was about to argue, was interrupted by Finya's phone ringing next to her computer. Peepat called. "You just keep quiet, we'll argue later." Then the young doctor answered the phone. Chapter 35. "Okay, can I have his name and phone number? Just in case I try to contact him." Busaya noticed the person talking on the phone, quickly took a pen and paper and wrote something. "Thank you very much, Mr. Peepat. I will visit your shop again soon. Goodbye." Finya then hung up the phone, walked over, and sat on the sofa with a sigh. "How? He can't reach him. The number I was given is no longer active," the British doctor replied. "Of course it's not active, he's gone. If we could reach him, we'd have a bigger problem. I heard you ask his name." Finya handed the paper in her hand to Bua, who took it and read it. "Wisrata Mornwat. Try looking for him." Bua quickly typed her full name in the search bar and hit enter. "Oh no!" Bua exclaimed after waiting for 4 or 5 seconds, then moving her mouse to click on first website that came up. "He's an archaeologist. This information is from 2 years ago. And why did an archaeologist's bones turn up in a plane crash? I don't know." The speaker shook her head, then scanned the webpage for more information. "Care to guess what the field is?" "Ancient Egypt." "Yes, He went to the location in Cairo about 5 or 6 years ago. The police have no information. He disappeared, and there was no missing person report. Don't you think that's strange? That's strange, Bua replied immediately. Someone's missing. Unless no one knows he's missing. Maybe he doesn't have any family, or he's not in touch with them at all. Busia speculated, still staring at the computer screen. That's possible, Finya replied. At least now we know his name. I'll do some more searching to see if I can find anything else on the internet, she said, picking up her phone to gather more information. I'll also send her name to the police. They might be able to find a lead quicker. Agreed. In the meantime, I'll start washing clothes. Go ahead, Dr. Finn. Bua teased. This room is practically yours now. Or would you rather come to my place? That can be arranged, Finn said as she stood up. Do you often invite people into your room like this? Bua asked jokingly. You talk as if you've never been there. The British doctor replied, moving closer. If I told you were the first, would you believe me? She leaned in, gently placing her fingertips on Bua's chin, so close that their breaths were mingled. I want you to be the first and the only one. Stop saying things like that. Busia replied, her face slightly red as she avoided eye contact. If you want to wash, go. How about your laundry? I'll take care of my laundry later. I want to help, just put it in the washing machine. Finn, you're going to spoil me, Bua said, tumming to give her a narrowed look. It doesn't matter, I want you close to me, Finn said as she turned around, humming the song she often used to tease Bua as she walked into the room. You'll miss me when I'm gone. Bua glared at her, but there was a hidden smile in her eyes. Bua, the owner of the name, who was busy cleaning chimpanzee bones for the exhibition, looked up. Fong came in, looking like she hadn't slept all night. Where's Finn? How should I know? Bua replied, looking back at the bones in front of her. Maybe she's teaching? Does Finn have class this morning? Fong pressed. Why are you asking me? Askin, she has the schedule. I thought you would know. And why do I know? Because you two are always together. Fong crossed her arms and stared at her. Is that so? Yeah, it's often suspicious, Fong added. Suspicious for two people who shouldn't like each other. There's nothing like that anymore. Don't worry, Bua said, somewhat unconvincingly. When did you two reconcile? Fong asked, but the lab chief only sighed and didn't elaborate. It's been quite a while, Bua replied. Bua. Fong's tone tummed more serious. Is there something you want to tell me? What do you mean by something? I won't force you because I respect your privacy, Fong continued. But if there's anything, you know you can tell me, right? Actually, there is. Bua hesitated. Since Fong was her best friend, she felt she had to tell her what happened between her and Finya. After all, Finya was also someone Fong had known for a long time. Moreover, Fong had always been the peacemaker between the two since their school days. I'm listening. Well, Finn and I. Bua stuttered, unsure of how to begin. Are you guys fighting again? Do you think Finya can be trusted? Bua asked uncomfortably. It was the only question on her mind, and she wasn't sure she knew the answer. Why? What is Finn doing? Nothing, Bua whispered quickly. I just... She trailed off, not entirely sure what she wanted to ask. You feel like you can't trust her? Fong asked, and Bua nodded. Why? I've tried to push this feeling away, Bua said, her voice sounding distant. I don't want to keep it, but I can't let it go. Why do you want to let her go? Fong asked as she pulled out a tall stainless steel chair and sat down, signaling that she was ready to listen. I don't want to feel awkward around Finn, Bua said hesitantly. Finn isn't the same as before, anyway, I feel like it's unfair to her if I keep feeling this way when she hasn't done anything wrong. Fong hummed softly in response, now understanding why Bua didn't want anyone to know that she and Finya were getting closer. Bua wasn't sure about her own feelings. Fong thought carefully about how to respond. The two had been at odds for years, with things getting worse to the point where Bua was almost expelled. Repairing Bua's lack of trust in Finya would take time. You need to understand that this is normal, Fong finally said in a calm tone after a moment of silence. Don't deny it or push it away. It's normal to feel this way after everything Finn did to you. But I don't want to feel this way anymore. Why not? Fong asked, even though she knew the story better than anyone. Besides, you don't like Finn. You're just working together, so why bother caring about her feelings, unless there's something more? The question made Bua pause for a moment before she looked into her friend's eyes, who was patiently waiting for an answer. There is. Bua admitted in a small voice, avoiding eye contact. There is something more. What's wrong? Fong pushed gently, but Bua remained silent again. If you don't tell me what's going on, I can't help you. Finn and I, well, it's complicated between us, I don't even know how to put it into words. Bua confessed, struggling to explain the unclear relationship. It's more than just friends. Just admitting it is a good start, Fong smiled. Now you realize, right? We've been friends for almost 10 years, Fong, and yes, even with a glance, I can tell, Bua replied. What should I do? If you like or love someone, just do it. Fong said, placing a reassuring hand on Bua's shoulder. You can trust that I will support you. If Finn does something wrong, I will be the first to confront her, okay? Honestly, I was scared, Fong, Bua admitted. I was scared of being betrayed. I was scared that Finn would do what she did before. In the past, even though we didn't get along, I never thought she would mess things up so badly that I could barely stand it. When I received the ethics violation report, it felt like everything I had worked for was ruined. My life was almost ruined. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep for months. I was scared of being expelled. Do you like Finn? Fong asked directly. At this point, it's probably more than just liking it. Then you have to choose. Fong said thoughtfully. You can love her completely or let her go. You have to consider it carefully. I feel like the more I fell for her, the more paranoid I become. You'll be fine, trust me. Trust yourself, Bua. Fong encouraged her. You passed the ethics committee investigation with flying colors. If you can survive, this should be easy. Give love a try. If it doesn't work out, at least you won't be left wondering. I feel pathetic, Bua said softly. It shouldn't be like this. When I don't trust her, I feel like I'm being unfair to Finn. I gave her every chance to leave, but she stayed. Then you should be able to guess why Finn is still here, right? Bua's friend asked. The past and the present are no longer the same, and I'm sure someone like Finn would never hurt someone she loves. Don't let the past hurt the present, my friend. Is that what you think? Let's just wait. Another replied. Is Finn still acts like her old self? I swear I'll form a team to scold her. Agreed? Fong said half-jokingly. Yes, thank you. Why did this happen? Bua's friend suddenly said. You ask like that, how should I answer? Back then, you two were almost strangling each other. When I just stood still, someone would come and call me to separate you two. That was then, not like now. Exactly. Fong agreed. You said yourself that Finn is not the same person anymore. Bua just nodded in agreement with those words. How did you do it? The woman lowered her voice to a whisper. No kidding, taking down your old rival like that. Fong. Just kidding. Fong said with a hearty laugh. Next time, if something happens, just talk to each other, and you can quickly find a way to fix it. See? Because you two never talked, everything was messed up for years. When you finally started to feel like you were getting along, you became suspicious again. Now, if something happens, just talk it out and resolve everything so you can move forward with peace of mind. Finn has apologized to me, Bua said. But I am the one who still can't get over my own mistrust. Give yourself some time, Bua. I think Finn can wait. Bua's close friend said. And don't throw a tantrum at her too much. Fong added, stepping over to pat Bua's shoulders lightly as Finya walked through the door. Finn's here, Fong said, glancing over before patting her friend's shoulder gently. Let me borrow her for a moment. Fong turned to Finya. Finn, can I have your autograph? Although still confused by what she had just witnessed, Finya nodded and took the paper to read. The professor is in her office, my friend. Finya lowered her head before signing her name on the paper. No. If she sees me, she will ask for the task again. It is easier to ask for your signature. Fong explained. Thank you. The person took the paper back, thanked Finn, then glanced at Bua, nodding before walking away. Bua moved to the other side and stood quietly leaning against a large pillar. Soon after, someone followed her. Is something wrong? Finya, who stopped in front of Bua, asked. What's wrong? Why do you look like you're about to cry? No. The person denied with a slightly trembling voice before looking at Finn. What's wrong? Did someone do something to you? The person in front of her just shook her head. You seem fine this morning. Did I do something to upset you? No. Then, Bua moved closer to hug her, her voice starting to shake. I'm sorry for taking advantage of you like this. Bua said into the man's shoulder. The better you treat me, the worse I feel. We've talked about this, haven't we, Bua? Finya raised one hand to gently stroke Bua's hair. No matter how much you push me, I won't leave until you sort yourself out and are sure of your decision. At that point, even if I'm not your final answer, I won't be hurt. Do you understand? And you sure know how to pick a place to talk in a lab full of chimpanzee skeletons smiling at us. Finya slowly stepped away, taking off Bua's glasses and tucking them into her own collar. Then, she cupped Bua's face in both hands to wipe away her tears. Enough. Stop being stubborn. Where is that slippery, never give up Bua? Bring her back, I need to talk to her. Okay. Bua quickly wiped her own tears, while Finya brushed aside a strand of hair that had fallen from her forehead. Feeling better now? Bua took a deep breath, and Finya pulled her glasses from her collar and put them back on Bua's face. What's wrong? Why are you here? Your boyfriend called me. You said you had something to talk about, but you still tease me, Bua said, her tone annoyed. I can't help it. He's still stuck with you. Finya explained, unable to resist a quip from Songwhat, remembering how he had tried to woo Bua in the past. If you liked him back then, I would have been out of luck. But now, you sleep in the same bed as me every night, in case you forgot, Bua retorted irritably. Now, let's get to the point. Songwhat called, saying that Mr. Fanyawat wanted to invite me to check his warehouse. Warehouse? Bua repeated, narrowing her eyes. That sounds fishy. Wait, I'm not done yet, Finya continued. While we were talking, Songwhat said that Mr. Fanyawat also knows Mr. Pachai. This industry is small, said Bua, the lab head. What do you think? I don't think we have much choice. I'll come with you. No. Finn. I'm serious, Bua? But you can't go alone. Who said? I'm inviting Songwhat, Finya said. Who's going alone? Can we trust that guy? Bua asked with a sigh. I don't like this situation. It feels like we're getting closer to the truth but also taking a bigger risk. We still have the upper hand, the assistant commented. Because no one knows we know the skull. I hope you're right. Bua said absently, lowering her head and sighing anxiously again. Seeing this, Finya walked over and put both her hands on Bua's shoulders. Are you okay, Bua? Trying to be okay. I have to attend the student sermon at rehearsal. Finya said as she stepped closer and kissed Bua's forehead quickly. We'll be fine, she said before walking away. Thank you, Fin. Bua whispered, her voice slightly choked with emotion as she watched Finya leave the lab. Part 7, End, to be continued. Thank you for spending your time with us. New videos every day at 9 p.m. Don't forget to like and subscribe for the newest videos. See ya.